COVID-19 has changed how we live and view the world. It has left so many people uncertain of the future as we face a time where the future cannot be predicted. Now, the Constitution Hill in Johannesburg has started to look at the ways that we can document COVID-19 for the future generations. The Constitutional Hill COVID-19 Digital Archive project will collect material that tells the current pandemic which is facing the world. This will be done through pictures, social media posts, voice recordings and memes and so much more. This is to ensure that future generations see how this pandemic affected not only our country but the rest of the world. But to tell us more about the Constitution Hill COVID-19 Digital Archive project, we are joined via Skype by Dawn Robertson. Dawn, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, and thanks for having Constitution Hill with you this morning.
It's an absolute pleasure, Dawn. Why was it important, first and foremost, for the Con Hill to introduce this COVID-19 Digital Archive project?
I think Con Hill, like many museums and institutions of our kind around the world, have to find ways to keep engaging with our audiences. Our museums are closed, our events have been shut down, and we've got to try and still connect with our audiences and keep them engaged with the work that we do. But one of the important things for Constitution Hill is that we are in the process of building an archive at Constitution Hill. We would have started construction if we hadn't been shut down. So this is a physical archive as well as a digital archive where we're documenting the story of the making of our Constitution as well as stories of South Africa under the hashtag We the People. One of the important things for us is collecting contemporary history. So, for example, what's happening now in South Africa in terms of the lockdown, the COVID-19 pandemic. Who's going to tell these stories? How are we going to remember these stories? But also, these are the stories of ordinary people, the millions of South Africans who are going through this. And we want to collect everybody's stories. So under the hashtag of We the People of South Africa, we're collecting these stories to secure them, to archive them, and possibly to even when we open up, have an exhibition of what life was like under COVID-19.
Just what material will you be collecting and how will you be sourcing it? You just mentioned that you'll be, collecting people's stories. So would it be in the format of videos or pictures or the stats or the data that has been constantly supplied by the Department of Health?
All of the above. Okay, so we've created multiple channels. So obviously our archival team is collecting stuff as we speak. But we've created a portal on our website. So our website is www.constitutionhill.org.za. And if you go to ACT on our website, there's a place where you can actually upload a JPEG, a short movie. You can upload a letter maybe that you've received to say you've been laid off, or a letter that you've written to somebody. You can put up, and every day we're kind of promoting stories with you. So for example, today, we're asking people to hashtag and to upload stories about how they're connecting with each other. In the previous days, we've asked you to show us how you're exercising or how you're homeschooling your children. So that's the one way you can do it. The other way is just to simply WhatsApp us something interesting, a picture that you've taken or a voice note. And the WhatsApp number for this is 081 352 4153. And then the other way is simply just to tag us under the hashtag MyCOVIDStorySA and to tag at We the People South Africa or at Constitution Hill. And our teams are gathering all this information and we're creating an online gallery of this information. And this will all feed into the archive and hopefully feed into an exhibition when this is all over so that we can share what it was like for all South Africans living under COVID-19.
And I suppose then that the use of different media, Dawn, was actually a brilliant idea, and it's a brilliant way of telling the story for those who are not part of this era and for our future generations. And what impact do you think that this pandemic will have for the future of our country?
I'm very hopeful that we're going to come out a much better South Africa at the end of this. I know we've still got challenges. I know there are still challenges that we're facing. But I think the stories that are coming through are showing that people's attitudes have changed. We are so living in gratitude of what we have. There are so many initiatives that are going out to work with people that need help under this time. We're not getting it all right, but we're doing our best. And I think we're in support of what our government is doing. And we're hoping that we'll come out as the people of South Africa a better country at the end of all of this. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but if we pull together, we know we're going to be a better space.
You just mentioned that people, are welcome to just add or tag you on Twitter and just share their personal stories. But then who is allowed to take part in the Constitution Hill COVID-19 Digital Archive project?
Every single person in South Africa. So we want from young kids. So, for example, tomorrow you'll see some young kids that are going to be talking about Freedom Day. We want old people, who are isolated and are missing their families. And that's why we've created such a multiplicity of points that people can use. So, we didn't have a WhatsApp number. We even have an email address. So the email address is mycovidstory sa@conil.org.za. So there's all these ways that people can get to us. And we're also searching the net and searching social media and pulling stuff off and contacting people and saying, can we use this? This is useful. So I'd just like to encourage everybody in the country to share your stories. And even if they're not the stories that we're asking for on a particular day, any stories that you think are useful. And like I said, it's things from, we want to know how COVID-19 impacted on you. So if you've lost your job or you've been laid, you've been put on short time, or you've had a gig cancelled, whatever, share this information, because it's all these documents and all these examples of what people went through that we want to collect. It's, archiving and collecting is not like it was in the old days where it had to be precious things that had to be preserved and conserved, etc. It's just ordinary documents, ordinary things, images, stuff that you've got on your phone, messages that somebody said that they were missing you. This is the kind of stuff we want to be as creative as you want to share whatever it is that you feel you want to share with us.
And I suppose there's so many positive stories to come from the millions of South Africans who've been affected in one way or the other, and even the issue of recoveries. And I just hope that so many South Africans will also be sharing their stories on how they are positively diagnosed and they fully recovered from the disease. Now, before I let you go, Dawn, we don't have much time, unfortunately, but let's now go through again the different media that people can use to share their stories. You mentioned email. What's the email address?
So the email address is mycovidstorysa@conil.org.za. The WhatsApp number is 081 352
4153.
And then on our website, you go to the section which is @ and you'll find My COVID Story over there, where you can upload stuff directly onto the website. Or, as I said, just tag us at We the People SA or at Constitution Hill using the hashtag MyCOVIDStorySA.
All right, Dawn, no doubt this is history in the making, and it definitely needs to be told through the South African story and through a South African perspective. Thank you so much for providing that platform for so many South Africans to share their story on how they've been affected by coronavirus. Thank you so much for your time.
My last word, can we have good news stories as well as the bad stories?
Of course.
We want to know how people struggle through this as well.
But of course. And more so because, there's always opportunity in every crisis. So there has to be good stories and as much as bad or negative stories. That was Dawn Robertson talking to us about the Constitution Hill COVID-19 Digital Archive project, which will collect material that tells the current pandemic which is facing the world.